Welcome, everybody, to week 16 of the 444 DFS MVP podcast. I'm your host, John Breslin. You may know me as Squirrel Patrol, joined by Pat Crane, Dave Smadek, Neil Orfield. Hope for everybody that the first week of best ball playoffs and season-long playoffs went well. Anybody have a noteworthy week 15?
Advanced like exactly as much as I should, I think, in week 15, essentially. Yeah, not that noteworthy.
I was happy with the teams I got through. Some fun teams. None of them had Puka, so we'll see. They do have one DK Millie team that has Puka. We were talking about it before we got going. So there's and I've got a couple puppy. I got a puppy 4 team, a regular puppy team with Puka. So there's some Puka floating around, but none of my Best Ball Mania stuff had Puka, which was a little bit of a bummer. Unless some other people want to go for 40 this weekend, and then it won't matter.
You've got like what, 7 Best Ball Manias or 6 or something?
I have 5.
Right? Oh, 5.
Yeah, 5.
Oh,
but 2 of them were like very fun to dream on. And of course, there's a lot of Puka left, so there's plenty of Puka in the pod. So we'll see. They'll need to score a ton of points.
Hopefully, everybody's got lots of Puka going.
Hope you have lots of Puka.
Yeah,
Merry Puka.
Yeah, it's Puka
Merry
season.
Puka miss. Yeah, all my hopes and dreams for the season are pinned on one Stafford Puka team sitting in the DK Millie. That's my ticket out of this joint.
Yep. Yes. I'm with you.
Yeah, same.
So we're on to the DFS slate. We've got 11 games on the slate this week. It's a little bit smaller than last week was, 13 games. We do have 2 Saturday night games, which is what's it's no longer the international games that are reducing the size of our slate or bye weeks. It's the Saturday games, which are going to start hitting us. And then I think next week at Thursday, Christmas 3-gamer. But the highest
that's
total.
Going to be horrible, man. That Christmas 3-gamer, by the way, if you guys haven't looked at what's waiting for you, that is going to be like just a generally unfun day to watch because you're like, it's a football game and I should watch it. But they're like all bad games, and your family is going to be like, bro, why are you watching Gardner Minshew instead of holding your child? Can I explain it to you?
Yeah, I love how generalizable that was.
Yeah. That could apply to anyone. It wasn't necessarily about me. That could apply to anyone.
Yeah, but things can change quickly too. Right? We expected Patrick Mahomes, last week. And I think that's one of the most unexpected injuries that we've kind of seen. And things can change very quickly at this time of year. I'll say we've got for this slate, with the highest totals are the Steelers lines at 52.5, which actually is a little bit of an outlier. I was thinking that there's no real outlier, but that is the highest total by a few points. Then we've got Chargers Cowboys at 49.5, Cardinals Falcons at 48.5. Those are the 3 highest totals. As always, we have some sub 40 totals of teams that are heavily defensive and or not really trying to get a win. But it does feel like much more wide open, I think, in my opinion, at least, than compared to the last few weeks. I guess injury notes that just popped up in the past 30 minutes. Woody Marks is practicing today, so
that's really big.
I
think that's very big for the slate.
Yeah,
because there's not a ton of good mid-tier value. So that is in my sheet. I've got him out, and I bet that changes. Like when I click Run Sims next, I bet that's going to change everything.
Yeah, she's not kind of far away compared to usual. I don't know.
I have a new. I'm reworking my audio setup down here. It's not great. We're working on it.
But Texans are 14-point favorites. So that's the running back spot there, going up against the Raiders. The Raiders actually have one of the lower implied point totals on the season. I think the lowest so far. It's like 12.
I hope for like all other teams that no one else has been below 12. They're back up to 12. I just checked. They're 11.75 last night. It's unbelievable.
But then Michael Carter is starting for the Cardinals, and then T. Higgins is officially questionable. I'd be a little bit surprised if T. Higgins plays because I think it's his second concussion this month.
Dude, once these guys get to this stage in the protocol, though, they normally play.
They normally play, yeah.
They once you get to the Friday practice, I would say more off. Like I would actually say he's on the good side of questionable. Would be my guess.
He already missed a game, so my guess is he probably plays.
They're out of the playoffs though. Like if he gets a third,
why is Burrow playing? I mean,
so we always, us nerds, always think that matters. It does not matter to these guys at all. Like it can if it's like I have a twisted ankle or something, but a brain boo boo, these dudes don't care.
All right, so we'll move on to the game environments. Neil, we'll start with you. So it is pretty wide open. We do have the high 52.5 point total out there. Is that the game environment you're looking at first, or is there somewhere else you're looking?
I mean, I think that's clearly one of the top game environments. It's one of the game environments, but it is going to get some ownership on the pieces that you want to play. So I wouldn't say that is the biggest priority for me in tournaments. Here's where I should always say, like, I'm playing the largest field tournament. So I'm usually looking for like, okay, where can I find some ownership discounts on players for these large field tournaments? To me, that's the Chargers Cowboys game. The Chargers side just not really getting much ownership. And that's a game that has a high total, a close spread. I love that game. I think that's
Neil, I love it for you in large field. Like, unironically, I think that's actually a great spot to attack the low on stuff. And in the contest I play, I can just pretend that the Chargers don't exist. It's like a nice happy medium.
What if so there is the possibility of Quinnen Williams missing the game. He has been questionable. He was limited participant yesterday. To me, like the Cowboys were a team.
He was concussed in that game last week too, so I would guess he's out.
The Chargers are a self-limiting operation in which it doesn't matter who they play. The offensive line is so bad, and Herbert has a broken hand. Herbert hasn't topped 15 fantasy points in 6 games, and a big chunk of that is by design. He wouldn't have topped 5 fantasy points last week had the referees correctly ruled Trey Harris. I've said this on every show this week, but the Trey Harris catch, the deep catch last week, was the most obvious wrong call I've maybe ever seen. He like dribbled the ball off the turf, and it was ruled a 45-yard completion.
I have not seen this.
It was almost as bad. It was almost as bad as the Colby Parkinson touchdown from last week in terms of like egregious ruling.
Yeah, I have not seen that play. I'll have to look that up. But so Quinnen, all season, like the first half of the season, we were targeting the Cowboys on the ground consistently. Like it was like, this is one of the best spots. Then they traded for Quinnen Williams. Suddenly it's a huge pass funnel. Now I'm like, okay, Omarion Hampton got 15 carries last week. So I love the Omarion Hampton spot with like Quinnen Williams. I think you can just attack this Cowboys defense.
I'm with you on this. I like this angle.
The running back angle. I mean, they have a high implied team total. So you just think that Herbert's hand is like too messed up to.
It's more the line. It's more the line than the hand. Like they are one. Even if he does run into a 41 pass attempt game, a bunch of those passes are going to hit the turf or be like 2-yard passes to Keenan Allen or Kamani.
Right.
Like Crane, I bet you have this in the worksheet. I bet his time to throw in the last month.
Worksheet, check it out over on Sharp Football.
Sorry. I would bet without looking, his time to throw is like insanely quick over the last month of the season because they're just trying to keep him upright.
That's a good, I should check that. The way they're trying to keep him upright that I noted in the walkthrough is they are running the crap out of the ball. They have last 3 weeks, -11, -11, and -7% pass rate over expected. And on 1st and 10, -17, -24, -17%. They're like completely changed. Remember, this was the team in the beginning of the year. We're like, the Chargers, they're PROE kings. They were passing all over the yard. They've completely changed it. And, I'm not really even like blaming them. Like they have a quarterback with a broken hand and then no offensive line. So like, I do understand why, but I think this is not an accident or experiment. Like they're specifically doing it to hide the injured quarterback. So I just don't have much faith that they'll drop back a ton. And then even if they do, like it's so spread out, like McConkey, Quentin Johnson was out last week and McConkey's targets per out run was not good. So it's just hard to predict where targets are going to go. Yeah, McConkey was at 10% targets per out run last week in a game Johnson didn't play. And it sounds like Johnson could be back. So that's the part of it on the Chargers passing game side. I'm not really that interested, but Omarion Hampton had 52% of carries last week. And that's up from 34% in week 14. And, before he got hurt, he was like 68. He peaked at 92% against the Giants. I don't think he gets back there. They like what they have in Vidal too now, but I do think 60-something% of the carries is very possible. And he could maybe even get to 70. So, and if this is kind of an offense built around the run against a pretty weak run defense, if Williams is out, then, 60% of carries could be a pretty nice workload for him.
All right, so we're talking game environments, but we all agree at least on the running back. So the Chargers, but also the Cowboys side, like it just consistently, like, doesn't matter who they're playing. Dak Prescott can put up big scores. So yeah, there's at least
I like the
pieces to
Dak
like.
side,
Yeah, pieces to like from that game. I do think, like, yeah, Detroit Pittsburgh is still a great game environment to attack. We just saw it last week. It was like, oh, it's gonna be chalk, and then all you needed was Rams and Lions. So I think that one is a strong one. I'm very curious with I think Drake London's status is going to affect things a lot in terms of how much interest I have in at least the Falcons side of the Falcons Cardinals game, because that could be a fun one to attack. If Drake London is out, we can go back to that one. If he's back in, it's like
also Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, who I assume is back in, right? Like he's seems more likely.
He full practiced twice.
He full practiced. Okay, yeah, that changes things.
And then I guess just I guess I'll also throw out the Cincinnati Miami game. Like I think it's the fact that Tua has been benched. We saw it last year. Like anytime Tua was out, Devin Achane sucked. Like it was like he was only good with Tua Tagovailoa last year, but they didn't have Quinn Ewers. Maybe Quinn Ewers is better than
Quinn Ewers sucks ass, dude. Like I can't.
Neil, this is where you got to watch some college football. Man.
Right. You don't even have to watch it. You just look at the numbers. He's horrible in those two. This dude's terrible.
I'm gonna be running so many Quinn Ewers, AD Mitchell stacks. It's gonna be beautiful. Texas.
Let me say this: we've seen if a 4K puke quarterback getting 15.6 DraftKings points was gonna hit optimal lineups in a slate, I actually think it's very possible in this slate because one, there's no nuke quarterback on the slate. The only one is Josh Allen, but he's a 10.5 point favorite. This is going to be a James Cook game. So I don't really think there's huge odds of a quarterback getting 30 on this slate. So less of the ability to the field to differentiate with you. And there's not a ton of value. So like, let's say Achane, Gibbs, and Chase all have nuke scores. They all get like 35 or more. Well, realistically, the only way to get all those guys in a lineup is going to be with Quinn Ewers and Darren Waller or something like that. And so maybe 210 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks gets it done from Ewers.
Yeah, and McDaniel's trying to use Ewers as like his last ditch effort to not get fired, I would say at this point. So there's like a decent amount on the line for him to be cooking up some cool stuff. Like they're not just throwing away the rest of the season. I mean, they are, but they don't know they are. So they might try to, throw everything at the wall here. And the Bengals defense is so bad that like I can actually see Ewers being okay here. I think the part that I refuse to change my mind on is that like Ewers is a bad quarterback. So you have to. It's like can you see a bad quarterback succeeding here? Like I guess I can. So I don't want to completely rule out like that Ewers might be okay, but man, it's like the thing that when you look at him, I mean, he's like really conservative. He has a really bad deep ball. He's not a playmaker. He doesn't run at all. So he's like he's not very fantasy friendly as a quarterback in terms of him putting up points for himself. But then when you look at him as a facilitator, like he wasn't very good. Like you look at QBR, EPA, all that stuff. He's like pretty bad. And then, so in QBR, his best season right behind Sam Howell's, Riley Leonard. So like a really poor thrower to the middle of the field, or at least maybe not really poor, but poor. And that's like been the whole thing with McDaniel and Waddle. Waddle's 99th percentile this year in targets 10 plus yards and over the middle, where Yak is easier to generate. So he's like specifically bad at the thing they're probably going to ask him to do.
Can he check it down though? Let me ask you that. Can he check it down?
He can probably check it down. If I was going to do it, I'd do it with Achane and just be like, just like pepper this dude with targets. And, maybe it's like someone asked James to win if this is an appropriate block. You just do Ewers and Achane.
Yeah.
No, the JM block would be like Ewers, Waller, Malik Washington project for the same amount of points as Chase and Gesicki or something. That would be.
It doesn't though. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. But you can imagine if it did though.
Imagine if it did.
Hey, the block that I was teasing him about last week, Chig, Ward, Helm, outscored McCaffrey last week.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Any other game environments, Davis? Anything on your mind? Jacksonville, Denver, maybe? Anything?
Oh, I mean, let's just like not look the gift horse in the mouth. Like Goff doubles are just like easily winning contest this week, right? Just like it's gonna be like, dude, I got this Quinn Ewers HN team I'm pretty excited about. I'm just fading a 40 ball from Gibbs, and okay, well, you lose.
sorry for your loss.
I mean, that's exactly what happened last week, right? There was lots of stuff that was interesting, like, oh, I got this Purdy team, and Jennings scores 2 touchdowns, and then you just lose to the Lions game.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's one of the things with DFS content is you have to write a certain length article or do a show, and sometimes so well maybe we should go with the game with a 54.5 point total and take players from that game. But yeah, I agree. I think that the game environment, that pops off the page is the Steelers Lions. I do think there's some creative ways of playing it where you don't necessarily need to play like Jared Goff or Aaron Rodgers, because they're quarterbacks that don't necessarily like add a bunch of like rushing points. So that if you can find something at a cheaper price tag or lower ownership that posts an outlier score, we'll transition into the quarterbacks. And Pat, we'll start with you. I guess some lukewarm interest in Quinn Ewers at the 4K price tag, but we do, we have some
very, very, very lukewarm.
I guess maybe a compare and contrast with Quinn Ewers and Gardner Minshew at just 4,500.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew I think is fine. I mean, Gardner Minshew, if you look at his career efficiency, he's been where Tua Tagovailoa is this year. So that's bad. Obviously, Tua just got benched, but also like Tua is going to be better than yours. So it's like you're getting the guy who just got benched, which is actually better than the guy replacing him. So I think that there's maybe a little a little interest there if you want to go there. The thing is like Rice is out, so it's going to be like Kelsey and Worthy. I guess Kelsey's okay. It's not in a particularly appealing stack to me.
No one wants to hear it. It's Worthy, right? It's Xavier
Worthy.
Worthy.
It's Kelsey.
9 for 44 with a 32% chance of a touchdown. There's your Xavier Worthy stat line. Remember how they used well, there's just no cheap guys this week. 9 for 44 with a 32% chance of touchdown makes him the best sub 5K wide receiver.
I guess he's 4,400. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember the first game back from his shoulder injury when Rashi was still suspended and he had like 130 combo yards?
Okay.
That's like what you're hoping for.
Okay. The quarterback I'm kind of interested in, if we're talking about bad quarterbacks, is Tyler Shuck, who might not be bad. It's possible he's not bad, guys.
That's who I like. I'm on the Shuck. Well, you've clearly changed your tune on the Shuck demon.
I did. You know what? Because Shuck has had 2 really strong games. Okay, like his efficiency's actually been really strong, and he's got Olave and he's got Juwan Johnson, and I'm interested in both those guys. I think this is the thing I wrote up this last week about Olave is that his ADOT's been way up since Rashid Shaheed's been gone. And so he's kind of got this more volatile role in the offense, but his production was down. And so it's like, oh, this, it's not working anymore. It's going to be kind of hit or miss. But I think double stacks with Shuck, with Johnson and Olave are kind of interesting. I am worried about the Jets pushing the Saints here, but the Saints defense, it's not amazing. So maybe they can kind of, do enough where the Saints aren't winning this game in 3 quarters. So I do like Shuck there. What other quarterbacks?
I'll just note that Tyler Shuck is 5,400 now. So that's like we're not talking about like 4,500. No. So yeah. He's 100 more than Jacoby Brissett, 100 less than CJ Stroud. I don't know. That seems like competitive options around him.
There are, but you're going against the Jets defense, and that's a part I probably undersold here. Is that this defense is just horrendous. They literally just fired their DC, and they have a defensive-minded head coach. So it's like, oh, buddy, this doesn't seem to be working. Brissett, I do think is fine. I mean, they're just going to pass no matter what. Doesn't matter, and they're set up to do their normal thing here. I think Stroud is also fine. He gets the Raiders, so that works. And And Dak isn't like popping in my stuff, but I kind of intrigued by him. This matchup is tough, but you're just it's kind of like a bet on talent play there.
Okay. Davis, any thoughts on quarterbacks?
I guess last thing is Jacoby. I mean, it's just
right?
It's what, Neil? It's 9 straight weeks with more than 19 DraftKings points. You can definitely, I mean, everyone's going to have their own opinion on this. My thought is probably that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to come back and immediately reclaim the X wide receiver position that's been so valuable. It's possible I'm wrong. It's possible it's still Michael Wilson. For daily fantasy, you'd probably prefer it to be Marvin Harrison because he's $1,000 or $1,300 less. You can single stack Jacoby. You could double stack Jacoby. You could even do Michael Carter with him if you wanted. But I'm thinking, for me, quarterback might really just be Jacoby and Goff, and then figure it out around that. And
Jacoby's so safe in that you're going to get the pass attempts. Like they're passing. Like they did it against the Texans. I mean, doesn't that answer the question?
Like easily got there against the Texans, just like no sweat. McBride got there, he got there, and Michael Wilson got there against the best defense in the NFL.
Well, Wilson was inefficient at least, but yeah.
Why aren't they raising his price? Yeah, it's like what?
It's weird.
9 games over 20, 9 games in a row with 20 DraftKings points. Why is he 5,300?
Maybe because he never gets more than 20. It's like he either gets 20 or 21. He never gets 25.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's on so many pass attempts too.
NFL record for completions in a game.
That's crazy, man.
Because if you want to have a good time, look at their point differential since Kyler Murray went on the IR. It's got to be over 100 points now, negative 100.
Looking at this Jacoby Brissett run, it really is an indictment of development for the quarterback position right now.
Don't tell Mina Kimes.
or
this Jacoby Brissett run has nothing to do with how the Cardinals feel about Kyler Murray. It has nothing to do with it.
All right. On that note, Neil, any quarterbacks?
I think the quarterbacks that I have the most interest in have already been named. I think Jacoby Brissett, Jared Goff, those are both strong plays. Dak Prescott. I was planning on going to some Justin Herbert. I feel like you guys may have talked me out of playing much Justin Herbert. I'll still probably play some in my 150 set, but maybe won't be a big. He's also getting a fair amount of ownership, so maybe not as big a priority. I'm tempted to play some Baker Mayfield, just like always. I think that's a game environment that like kind of a close spread, could see it going off. It's not like the biggest priority for me, but I kind of always like Baker Mayfield. So that might be another spot I go to a little bit.
I'll say, I think for my interest, I actually think that the insight that like there's no quarterback that is potentially going to go off, right? We're not necessarily going to have a 35-point score from quarterback. So we maybe want to save some money at the position. And I'll probably be kind of utilizing that strategy, especially for like multi-entry, 150 lineup kind of things. And I actually do think that like quarterbacks like Quinn Ewers, we should be looking at. And
if I don't 150 max anymore, but if I did, I would be like, give me Quinn Ewers, give me Tyler Shuck, like give me these
Gardner Minshew. What about Gardner Minshew?
Give me Gardner Minshew over Ewers, man.
Yeah,
he gets the Titans. Like this is not a hard matchup at all.
Yeah,
and I think he's got the Joe Flacco element of he's just going to throw the ball. Like, what does he care at this point in his career?
And it's been a pass funnel like in recent weeks anyway.
Yeah,
like if Ewers turned out to be Gardner Minshew, that would be a massive win for him. Like he's like a backup on multiple teams. He has like a fun little run, a couple times like that. That's like 99th percentile stuff for this level of prospect. I'm telling you.
And I'll say the Quinn Ewers dump off to Devin Nichan, right? Like if that goes 80 yards, that goes right to Quinn Ewers' stat line as well.
Sure. Speaking of awful quarterbacks, JJ McCarthy, I do want to mention, like he's
been pretty good lately.
He's been pretty good lately. And another guy, two legitimately impressive games.
This was the KOC. This was our thesis, was that it kind of doesn't matter if JJ McCarthy sucks, but KOC's so good that he's kind of just going to be able to put him on the train tracks, press the button, wind him up, and let him go, which is what he's done.
Wind him up a little less, Kevin. He's wound a little tight.
Yeah,
he's ripping all those throws and bouncing off Jefferson's hands.
True. It is funny that even as he has his good games, still nothing from Jefferson, nothing really from Austin. Just like, we'll throw it to Josh Oliver and Jalen Naylor.
Jefferson was close last week though.
That's part of why I'm a little optimistic on McCarthy, is that they were like actually targeting Jefferson at a very high rate, and so you're starting to see like the offense. I'm like, okay, it's McCarthy's playing better. They're really trying to get Jefferson the ball. Like maybe they're close to kind of figuring something out here, and he looks okay when he's throwing the tight ends. I don't know, for the receivers, it just still looks so something is not clicking, but I don't know. It's moving in the right direction, maybe.
All right, let's move on to the running back position. Davis, we'll start with you. It doesn't seem like we have like any of the injury related backups. It looks like a good position actually to spend up on because the expensive guys like Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs are in pretty good spots. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if Marks doesn't play, we have Jawar Jordan, but that really is about it. I'm not on DraftKings. I'm not too interested in Estimate. On FanDuel, Estimate's 4.9. I think you can definitely get away playing Estimate for like less than Noah Gray costs on FanDuel. Like I think you can get away there, but I'd be really surprised if one of Gibbs or Bijan doesn't top 30 fantasy points here. It's just like really good spots for both of them. The one guy I like the same degree as them who won't be owned as much as James Cook. It's remember the game against the Panthers, same deal. It's like, oh, it's a good run defense. It's like, no, Pat, this is your theory, which is that when teams can't do anything against them, they just hand the ball to James Cook. So like the Browns are not going to be able to do anything. So Joe Brady's going to be like, yeah, we're just going to let James Cook run for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's how I'm going to play.
It's not even like their identity is built around the run. Like this is they're like the Packers. I think of the Bills and the Packers. Yeah, like they have an offensive identity. Like heavy personnel. We're gonna like. It's a dumb identity to have with Josh Allen. It pisses me off, but it is their identity. And this is like a perfect spot for them to. I mean, the Browns. If you look at the season-long metrics, they're second in rushing DVOA, third in EPL per rush, first in rushing success rate. They're like awesome by they're first in run stop win rate. Like they look like a great run defense. But if you've been watching football the last couple of weeks, that does not appear to be the case, and they are down quite a bit. They're 21st in EPL per rush and 15th in success rate allowed over the last 2 weeks. And then you look at like what opponents are doing, and they're running all over them. The opponents have a 57% pass rate against the Browns, minus 5% pass rate of expected, and they're shifting 3% to the run from their normal PROE. So this is a run funnel team, and it's like one of those things where, especially against the run, where like if a team just like attacks you with volume, efficiency isn't necessarily going to save you, especially if you don't have the ability to put up points and like change their mind about running on you. So. And then I think the Browns' run defense is kind of maybe showing some cracks in meaningful ways. So this is like one of those spots that probably confirms for everybody, like, oh, the Browns' run defense sucks now, and they're just gonna allow a ton of running, because they're sort of like teams have been wanting to play them like this all year, and now it's maybe starting to be like a super obvious path. So even if it wasn't a super obvious path, this is what the Bills would do. They would run the ball. And so you kind of get like the upside of like, what if the Browns really are as bad against the run as they've looked the last 2 weeks? That's like not even fully priced in, because you get the safety of the Bills attacking on the ground either way, because they're trying to avoid this pass rush, which is still extremely strong.
I'll note James Cook is just minus 130 to score a touchdown, same as like Josh Allen.
I've already bet him to score 2.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have Cook in like best ball and stuff. Like it would be great I have like the stuff I'm sweating needs Cook to be quiet. Like it would be great for me if Cook had a bad game. This is like such a smash spot for Cook. It's like, it gives me a pit in my stomach.
Neil, any thoughts from you on running backs?
I just want to congratulate Chess Liam on all of his advancing teams once again this week. I mean, it's like inevitable, really. Also, I need to note, I noticed as we're talking, I've been a little bit distracted. This hat has the FV backwards. I've never seen this on one of my hats before, and now I'm like freaking out that I have a whole batch of hats that's just like backwards for some reason.
Well, it looks good to us because.
What do you mean it's backwards?
It does.
You are looking at yourself in reverse, brother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it is. Okay.
The image on StreamYard is mirrored.
No, but I think that's what he's saying, because to me it looks correct, but my hat looks wrong. Right?
Okay. That's good to know. So it's not a screw up of the hat. Okay, that is good, because I'm looking at Pat. I'm like, Pat's looks right to me. Okay.
Oh, you're
get what
seeing it?
saying now.
Okay, so where I'm looking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Now I understand. Now I understand. So mine is
Got
just
it.
reversed for me. I thought that I'm looking at like what YouTube is seeing is what I'm seeing on screen, but I guess that's not the case. Okay, good. Glad we have that solved. Because I was like, holy shit, do I have a whole batch of hats that are like backwards? That was freaking me out. Okay. I do really like HN here. I've been attacking running backs against the Bengals all season. I am going to continue to do that with HN. Cook, yeah, looks great. What else?
Is weed legal in Minnesota? What's the?
I've never noticed this. I swear to God, I was like, this is like.
I was thinking of the right drug joke to make, but
yeah, I'm just curious.
It is actually for the next like 6
Neil,
months.
look at my hat. My hat.
That's the thing. All of yours look correct to me.
Correct.
But mine looks wrong.
It looks
what
wrong
I didn't realize is that
I didn't realize. No, this is a realization to me. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought I would be seeing what you guys are seeing.
This is how mirroring works on video.
Yeah. I understand how mirroring works. It's just I did not realize that what I'm seeing on my screen is not like what YouTube sees. So like I see all of you the same as YouTube, except for me, it just is mirrored. I did not realize that. There was a whole thing where like my hats were like apparently in, and I told like I want them as soon as they come in, and then she didn't tell me for like 10 days after the hats arrived. So I've been wondering like, is there something wrong with the hats? What's going on? Why have they not told me that my hats are in? And I thought maybe they were like hiding a whole batch of like half of them are backwards or something. So anyway. Running backs. I already mentioned Amari Hampton.
I feel like I'm in the chair company right now.
I looked up their company. They're literally like a 2-minute walk from me. They're my neighbors, the company that did my hats. So I don't need to do a whole conspiracy theory. I can just find them. I like Amari Hampton quite a bit. Already went over that. I think it's going to be a great spot, especially if Quinnen Williams is out. Even with Quinnen Williams in, I think it's fine. Like Hampton just really talented, getting more work in recent weeks. I'm a little bit tempted to play Kareem Hunt, like or is I don't know. No, is it not even worth it?
Don't do it.
If you're gonna do anyone, I would do Pacheco. It seemed like last week they were trying to make Pacheco happen a little bit more. Maybe because they were just so fed up with having no explosive runs. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that'll fix it, guys. Get Pacheco out there.
Yeah, right. What about Quinshon Judkins? I guess we've seen running backs do really well against the Bills. Like Judkins feels like he's going to get enough opportunities against a bad run defense. He's kind of like just
Sampson's probably out, right?
Yeah, I think so. And Ford is already
that matters.
Out. Yeah,
because he's been
more
like Judkins hasn't really been getting the targets, but it just gives him the full backfield. So I think and obviously they're big dogs here, but if Sampson and Ford is on IR, so if Sampson is out, then I do like Judkins. Yeah.
Walker Kenneth Gainwell pops as like kind of a decent value. Aaron Jones really looks like a nice value against kind of a run funnel Giants defense. I do really like Aaron Jones also. I think those are kind of the bigger priorities.
What's your thought on the Mason split there? Because he's still getting work.
He's just not getting any passing game work. So it's like they're kind of splitting the carries and then Mason not getting any passing game work. Yeah, I'm a little bit tempted. Like I thought about mentioning Mason, but just looking at the projections, like Aaron Jones just projects so much better than Jordan Mason just because of the passing game.
I meant it more as kind of I'm a little bit nervous about Jones. Because if like they get rolling, I think Mason's involved. So you kind of want the game to be back and forth,
you're
maybe.
Right. Yeah, no, you do want the game to be back and forth for Aaron Jones. But like he'll still be like somewhat involved regardless. Like not like he has no running game involvement. I don't know. He projects fairly well for his $5,200 price tag. But yeah, that I do think that is somewhat of a concern that it caps his upside if the Vikings do really have a big game. Like he's not going to be the running back who's getting a ton of work. I think we mentioned all the top guys, HN, Bijan, Gibbs, Cook, all look great. Bucky Irving, kind of interesting.
Bucky Irving, I was going to mention, yeah. I think he's intriguing. It kind of more is like a low play.
I'm there because now Bucky is a 188-pound trap back. He's losing passing down work to Rachaad White and giving up all the goal line stuff to Sean Tucker. I even at like 3%, I don't love it that much.
Yeah, I mean, he had 73% of the carries, 7% target share last week.
Yeah, 73% of the carries. That's like a Nick Chubb ass stat. You know, it's like, oh, dude,
Right.
Nick Chubb, but like, you know,
Kareem
like
Hunt's coming in for the touchdown.
getting subbed out at the 1 for Sean Tucker, which legitimately happened last week, is so gnarly.
Yeah, pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
By the way, just want to mention, we did just literally get Dylan Sampson 5 minutes ago now is actually ruled out, along with David Njoku for fan and heads.
I am a fan and head. Although I don't think I have much fan left in best ball. That's somehow
he's on my best one.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Good luck. I'll be rooting for you.
Yeah.
Breece Hall, can we mention? I don't even know if I believe in this, but he's like seems okay.
That game, that's the secret game. That's the game when we come to talk to John next week. He's gonna be like, yeah, in the FanDuel Millie Maker, I had 5 guys from Jet Saints.
Well, why did you make me tout it then, John? If you're gonna win the Millie with it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's a good indoor game environment, right? Jets Saints, Tyler Truck. We're already talking about him, right? I'm not gonna. I don't want.
Are you into this game? I feel like we caught you.
Yeah.
It does. It's like he's like secretly. He's like, I kind of don't want anyone to know how good this game is for fantasy.
I'm more of a Quinn Ewers guy, right? Like I'm going to the Miami Devin Achan.
Quinn Ewers guy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say on Hall, like his stuff. So last week hit 30%, 38% of the carries. They used a bunch of Isaiah Davis, and I was like, I actually messaged Leone and Gretchen and Pete, and I was like, "Did you guys have any reads on like what happened here? Like, is this a thing?" And the consensus is like, no, it's just the part of the blowout. Things got weird. But if we go back to when he was getting like 65 to 82% of the carries, which he got against the Dolphins 2 weeks ago, I don't know. Could be okay. So anyway, that's my Breece Hall spiel.
All right, 2 names I don't think got mentioned. Travis Etienne. There's no Bashal Tutin. Obviously the guy that broke the best ball first round of the best ball playoffs. I'll say just plug. Thankfully, I had my 555 team on DraftKings in advanced. Had Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and A.D. Mitchell. It's an unexpected game spec. But I mean, I think it's against the Denver Broncos rushing defense, but probably not as bad of a Denver defense as we've seen in weeks past. Any interest there?
Seems fine.
I like the run. I'd prefer Harvey on the other side. It's the Broncos are the best defense in the NFL by a lot, depending on the way you could say.
I think the Texans are better than the Broncos.
It's better than them and the Texans, but the thing that is so crazy about the Broncos, they are allowing conversions on only 32% of third downs. So it's just very hard to get sustained drives without explosives against them. And I mean, maybe the Jaguars, and I think the Jaguars can maybe kind of push them a little bit, but no Tutin is pretty big for ETN. I don't know. Maybe they're both good.
Yeah, I have a little bit of interest in this game. I'm not sure if it's like just going to be like there will be enough here to make the game worth attacking. But the thing that intrigues me about it is that both defenses look like pass funnels, and that includes the Broncos, who have this great pass defense, but they have really good run defense. But because they're good, they're creating really high pass rates against them, 67%. But even with a 1% pass rate over expected by opponents. So it's not like, this isn't the Browns where teams come in and they just run the ball and try to hide from this pass defense. Like you kind of have to take the Broncos pass defense head on. That's the way most teams have gone. And we saw this last week by the Packers, who are a conservative team, and they had a 73% pass rate against the Broncos. So the Jaguars have a pretty beatable pass defense that's also a pass funnel. So you could see like these two passing offenses kind of push each other, not to the level of last night, let's say, but like that's, last night, 2 great defenses, and the offenses just kind of kept pushing each other until the dam broke. So there's like a little bit of that to this game that at least I find intriguing. And then if Etienne's the whole backfield, which he kind of won't be because the Quint Allen is still going to have a role, but he'll be like, he'll dominate carries.
LeQuint will just be in the role that he's been in, though.
Yeah, but it's a role that's annoying because it takes a bunch of routes away.
It takes the short down.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about this game like, oh, they're going to be constantly dropping back, like LeQuint Allen's going to be out there for a pretty good, like 2-minute drill stuff. Like ETN might not be on the field. So that's maybe the one word of caution there, even if this game is fun.
All right, let's move on to the wide receivers. Neil, we'll start with you again. What wide receivers are catching your eye? I'll say that there's been a thing for most of the past few weeks, or about the last month, with Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison. It's crazy to look back at like Michael Wilson's starting price tag. I think it was like $3,800 with no Marvin Harrison.
Wow.
Now he's $1,000 more than Marvin Harrison. I was trying to find Harrison in the pricing list, and I saw Wilson's name, and I started scrolling up like instinctively. No, he's Marvin Harrison $1,000 cheaper than Michael Wilson. Do you think Harrison is in play if he plays? And then who else are you looking at?
Yeah, I think Harrison definitely in play. I think Michael Wilson, if Harrison returns, is probably a bad play. Like he's too expensive at the very least. Maybe not. I guess it's going to be dependent on ownership whether he's a good play versus a bad play. But like he's going to be too expensive if Marvin Harrison does return, which sounds like he is going to. But yeah, I think at 5,900, Marvin Harrison, like what we were seeing from Michael Wilson, we were actually kind of seeing it from Marvin Harrison before he got hurt. Like he was also being elevated by Jacoby Brissett. So yeah, I think he would be a strong play, assuming that he plays. Again, we'll go back to Amon-Ra St. Brown and JMO. JMO, by the way, just absolutely crushing my hopes and dreams in best ball also, but he seems legit at this point with the oh my God, I'm blanking out. Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
Calling the plays. Yeah, it was like, couldn't remember the last name. Calling the plays. He's just been absolutely crushing. So JMO, Amon-Ra looking good. DK Metcalf, if you want to play into that game environment, only 5,400, one of the better point per dollar plays on the slate. We finally have my guy Justin Jefferson down to $6,000. That is how bad it's been in Minnesota this year.
Kind of into that.
He hasn't really been even paying off like the $6,000 price tag, but like I'm going to go to it. Yeah.
When was the last time he was 6,000? That has to be in his rookie year, right?
I would assume. Yeah. Like he was, by the end of his rookie year, he was one of the top receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is he doesn't even project that well point per dollar, like even at $6,000. Like it's not like this obvious play, but I still love the upside there for Jefferson. So I'll be going there.
The thing about McCarthy that you do have to give him credit for, I guess, is that he's like really aggressive. He attacks deep.
True.
So he does like a lot of stuff that's bad, but this Giants defense is not good. Like you could see how Jefferson really has a huge game here.
Yeah, like he definitely has the upside. Honestly, just like some of the touchdowns go to Jefferson instead of Jalen Naylor and Josh Oliver, suddenly he's looking a lot better. It'll happen at some point. So I like Jefferson as a play. Man, I can't figure out what to do with Chris Godwin because he now with Mike Evans back, is it just dead? Like is Evans just the guy there? Because he's still 5,300. Like the price hasn't moved on Chris Godwin. The role has actually been not that bad, or at least it wasn't.
I don't think Godwin's right. He just doesn't.
Yeah,
Evans came back, and you're like, that's Mike Evans.
Yeah, right. Like immediately.
Yeah, Godwin just hasn't looked right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Like, I still do have interest, at least somewhat, in like if Quentin Johnson is out, Keenan Allen at 4,800. I still think has the ability against this Cowboys defense to pay off that price tag. Ladd McConkey would be fine. You guys have talked me off of it as being like a priority for me, but it's still like I can kind of see it. Chris Olave, Pat already mentioned him, but I think that's a strong play. Xavier Worthy, 4,400. The price, like actually point per dollar, does look like a very nice play. Yeah, I think those are kind of some of the receivers that I'm interested in.
Pat, any receivers?
Yeah, Olave I like a lot. I mean, he's a cover boy of the walkthrough this week. I do think like when we're in a situation where the Jets just get completely blown out, the defense is a joke. They fire their DC. The DC off the record, just between you and I, says my linebackers don't want to play anymore. So like this whole thing's crumbling like this, and specifically on the defensive side. And then you've got a young quarterback, rookie quarterback, new coach. They're trying to like sell this, this guy is the guy of the future. Like there's pretty big incentive on the Saints side to, take full advantage of this matchup. And the matchup like might be the easiest now in the league, even better than the Bengals, which they've been a little bit better on defense recently. So, just kind of the flow chart type of thing here of like attack the Jets. They're so bad. Nico Collins, I think is pretty interesting. Stroud has been pretty good this year. If you look at the efficiency stuff, Nico's been really good this year by the efficiency metrics. We're not seeing them pass enough. And so you do have to like hope that maybe the Raiders can do kind of like a little bit of a Cardinals thing and just chuck it a ton, and stop the clock, even if they're not productive. But, Collins should be very efficient on his routes. It's just a matter of how many routes we get. Evans, I think Evans is pretty interesting, where like Baker kind of pulled out of the tailspin a little bit, and it happened right when Evans came back, and he was peppering him with targets, and he was playing very efficiently. Evans didn't run all the routes in his first game back. I think he'll see more routes this week. He looks like Mike Evans to me, as I just mentioned, and Baker Mayfield. Like, we've seen him be pretty good this year. It's been weeks and weeks. It's literally been since October since he's been, that version of Baker we were all excited about. But maybe that's still in there against a Carolina defense that's not very good. In a game they like have to win. It's kind of all on the line now for the Bucs. So I kind of am intrigued by Mike Evans and a little bit by Baker as well.
Davis, any wide receivers?
I mean, I'll be brave enough to say it. I'm playing Marvin Harrison Jr., not Mike Wilson. If he's ruled in, I did the same thing the last time Marvin Harrison Jr. came back before he re-injured his heel in that game after the appendectomy. He was clearly the wide receiver one. He was not owned. I believe he was 4% in that slate. I'll be doing that again.
He didn't run all the routes, though. Would be the one caveat.
He didn't run all the routes because he left injured with the heel injury.
Oh, okay.
Then I am going to really hope to pick correctly between Jameson Williams and St. Brown, probably with a slight preference for Jameson Williams because a leopard does not change its stripes.
He's faster, dude.
He's faster, dude. He's faster. That's all that matters. I will be punting a little bit with Xavier Worthy because he's faster than Juju Smith-Schuster. And actually, honestly, he projects very well. Go to whatever your projection site choice is. Go look. He's going to project pretty good.
Not when I do this.
Not when you
little
do
down button.
Boost down, negative boost. And you know what, Neil? Justin Jefferson, man. I don't care. I don't care. $6,000. This man, dude.
He's too good,
so he's having this year from hell, right? So bad. It took until this last week for Puka Nacua to get to averaging the same amount of yards per game for his career as Justin Jefferson. It took 9 straight weeks of Justin Jefferson crawling through shit for Puka Nacua to get to the same amount of yards per game. We are talking about a singular talent at the position who we all just agreed McCarthy, he's figuring it out a little bit. And had one of those touchdowns counted from last week, either the one that called back by penalty or the one he caught, what would his ownership be had one of those touchdowns landed in the box score? 30%? He'd be the most owned wide receiver. Yeah. He'd be one of the most owned wide receivers of the slate if one of those touchdowns had counted. But you check the box score and you go, this dude stinks. 2 for 22. Yeah, right, dude.
My concern is for the Shawshank metaphor, he comes out, we get the scene, he's in the rain, but then you just zoom out and he's still in Shawshank.
He's still in Shawshank. It's dude, JJ McCarthy's still holding the car keys, brother. He didn't meet you in Zihuatanejo.
Yeah, dude, you just got out to the prison yard, brother.
Brett Jones says McCarthy is just so bad though. But look at McCarthy's boxer. He's getting touchdowns. They're he's doing
McCarthy 22 points each of the last 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, he's putting up fantasy scores. He's just not bringing anybody you'd play along with him.
At some point, right, the way our brains work, because of the 9 memes, we're going to underestimate McCarthy. I'm not sure we're there yet, because he is bad, and I know he's bad in my heart. But at some point, we've made this guy a joke, and it's a good joke, and we should keep doing it. But at some point, it will lead us to be biased against him and miss.
That's literally how memes work. Is they become so along. Along you have the actual image, you have the meme, then you have the I've only ever read the word. I've never said
simulacrum.
Simulacrum.
Yeah,
right.
We are reaching the point where McCarthy has become the simulacrum, in which it's no longer representative of the reality of JJ McCarthy. We're so distorted we can't even see the original image anymore.
Right. which is fine because it's a funny picture, and I think we should, it's great.
Wasn't our last running joke that Trey McBride can't score touchdowns?
Right. Yeah,
right. Word of warning.
No one remembers that now. No one remembers that now. That's a distant
You
age.
better hope they don't. There's
10 receiving touchdowns.
Some videos we did.
We were right. We were right at the time.
Yeah.
I was saying he could score touchdowns. I was on the right side of history
right too.
Yeah.
Everyone was right.
I'll say I think the wide receiver position is really defined by who's not on it, right? We just saw the wide receiver position last night with Puka and JSN, and that leaves us with Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Jamar Chase as the top wide receivers. And those are obviously good plays. I think Amon-Ra, St. Brown is the top wide receiver play raw points wise. But I don't know that I'm going to exceed the field just because I'd much rather get to Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson at the running back position. And the Puka and JSN worthy spend ups. I think they're in their own class and they played last night and showed, and Puka showed why, and JSN scored a touchdown to win the game. So I don't know. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is the top wide receiver, but I don't know that I'm going to aim to be over the field. I'll say I think the most mispriced guy, the two most mispriced guys, I think are Xavier Worthy and Marvin Harrison if he plays. And I'm kind of intentionally leaving Justin Jefferson off that list.
I feel like maybe we didn't fully hammer home the Gibbs and the Bijan stuff. Those dudes do strike me as just insanely good plays, even at the price. So, I mean, it kind of changes the way you build. When you have the by far, because quarterback, we're not expecting that many points. Wide receiver, I agree with your take there. Some good plays, not must haves. And then Gibbs and Bijan are just one of these dudes is going to go nuts, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really what the week's about is finding ways to play these guys, I think.
So let's wrap things up with the tight end position. Pat, we'll go to you. Is it basically just a flow chart week of play the tight end with your quarterback, or what are your thoughts at tight end?
Well, I do. So I like Kelsey. I mean, I think Rice kind of got there by becoming the new Kelsey in a lot of ways, and then you have. I mean, the thing about Rice being taken out of the offense is that he just probably hurts the offense first and foremost because he wasn't getting a ton of first read targets. He was earning targets. But I think when I think about Gardner Minshew, who can actually earn targets when the defense is kind of taking the top guy away, I think it's Kelsey. Kelsey's just going to find a spot and just sit there, and he'll be there when Minshew's looking to pass it 5 yards downfield. So I think Kelsey's going to see a bunch of targets. I actually like him more than Worthy. Kyle Pitts, if London is out, obviously we can do that again. This is a really nice matchup for the Falcons. There should be a decent. I think the Falcons will attack on the ground, but there should be volume in this game because of the way the Cardinals play. Harold Fannin, with Njoku out, and he's just coming off 95% route participation. He now has a 23% target share, which leads the team. Judy's only at 20%. This dude was a backup tight end to start the year. He leads them in target share. This is their number one receiver. He just happens to have tight end eligibility. And Shedeur Sanders is really hot and cold, but he's got that JJ McCarthy thing where he's trying to do stuff that's helpful for fantasy. So it can work. Even if it might not. Juwan Johnson, I mentioned, I like. Trey McBride, I still think pretty awesome play still. And then, I guess you could do Gesicki if Higgins is out. But like I said earlier, I think Higgins probably plays. Those would be the top guys. Brock Bowers not really even being super interesting is just sad. I'll mention that. I'm not going to play him, but it's sad that I don't want to. Last guy would be Dalton Schultz. Is kind of, if we're betting on efficiency from the Houston offense, I think he should be someone you're considering.
Davis, any tight ends?
I mean, the only thing I would want to add on top of that, actually, to bring the show full circle, is Oronde Gadsden. His numbers have dipped as everyone else on the team has dipped, but a 14-point game at a tight end at his price can obviously be so much more valuable than Ladd McConkey getting 14 because he's eligible at tight end. Led them in receiving last week, 4 for 61. His route share and snap shares have never changed. Like he's just the starting tight end for the Chargers. And if we do think that they can get pushed a little bit, if we do think they can get up to, 41 dropbacks or something, I would expect Gadsden, because he's the cheapest of all the pass catchers, to be the one that I most want in fantasy. I'm not that into Pitts if London plays. Feels just like, the guy just scored 7% of his career fantasy points last week. Like he is the hottest name in fantasy football right now. It does feel like a spot where it's like, I don't know, man. Not gonna let
London's out for me.
Yeah. And if London's out, then I think he becomes like kind of like had to have him guy. Like you gotta play him because he's just playing Drake London's position now.
Right. And the thing with the Cardinals is they have a really, really poor success rate against the pass. And so it's like a volume play because I think the Falcons are going to be run heavy. That's kind of the way they want to go. The Cardinals aren't allowing like a ton of big plays. So you do want to be able to just like accumulate. So it's like if he's in the Drake London role with tight end eligibility at 5,000, that's a smash. But if Drake London will probably just do what we're hoping Pitts will do if he's there. So I don't think it's gonna be some massive day for the Falcons passing game because I don't think there'll be enough volume.
Neil, any thoughts on tight ends?
No, I think they covered it pretty well. It's Pitts if London is out, Fannin looks great. I think basically mentioned all the. I'm glad Davis brought up Oronde Gadsden because I was like I kind of want I drafted him in the cage match this week. I sort of have interest, and then you guys kind of scared me off of it. But yeah, I think that he's a reasonable play.
All right. Any closing thoughts from anyone on the week? All right. No? Yeah. I'll just say I think it's a wide open week. I think it's a good week to make sure you're stacking. It's not a week where there's a lot of injury related values. Oh, you've got to grab this guy for the discount. I think it's maybe you find a game environment that you will like and stack it. And that especially true for the tight end position. But that'll do it for this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope to see you at the top of the leaderboards, and we will catch you all next week.